knows every shadow like a lover's name. Her steps a rhythm, a deadly game. Fingers chase the edge of time. She rewrites the world, one line at a time.
Chapter 4, Bazaar Chase. The ancient stones of Charminar cast long, creeping shadows as the first light of morning spilled into Hyderabad's legendary market. The bazaar was alive, pulsating with sounds, smells, and colors like a living heartbeat. Shopkeepers called out their wares in overlapping Urdu and Telugu, their voices rising and falling like the sea. The sharp hiss of oil frying in countless pans mingled with the acrid smoke curling from auto rickshaws, weaving expertly through the knots of bodies that filled the narrow streets. For Ananya Rao, this chaos was not noise, but a cloak, a perfect mask to hide in plain sight. She moved like water, flowing around obstacles, her dark clothes melding with the shadows of early shoppers. Her eyes, trained by years of hard experience, took in everything. Each face was a question, every sudden movement a possible threat. Though she had only stolen 3 hours of sleep, adrenaline sharpened her senses to a fine edge. The city's energy poured into her veins, replacing the dullness of fatigue with the fire of purpose. In front of her, a man she had been tracking since dawn, Marcus Chen, or whatever name he used, believed himself invisible. The Australian was skilled, but not in the streets of Hyderabad. His mistakes were rookie errors, mistakes made in sterile training rooms, rather than in markets teeming with life and danger. Chen lingered too long at a spice vendor's stall. His hands lingered too predictably on the expensive saffron boxes. But his eyes betrayed his true target, the cloth section on the far side. His pace was steady and unchanging, devoid of the natural hesitation or acceleration that would make a casual shopper believable. Most tellingly, he checked his phone like a machine, eyes darting down to the screen with no concern for surroundings. Ananya stayed several paces behind, her movement swallowed by the tide of buyers and sellers. She stopped at a tiny glass bangle stall where an old woman's gentle hands placed sparkling circles around her wrist. Watching through the reflection in the small mirror, Ananya's gaze sharpened on Chen. His forehead glistened with sweat, despite the cool morning air. His fingers never strayed far from the small black bag slung across his chest. Secrets? Cash? Or something far more valuable? Then the call to prayer echoed from nearby mosques, weaving a momentary spell of silence over the market. Shopkeepers paused, caught between commerce and devotion. Seizing the lull, Chen checked his phone again. Ananya's instincts flared. He was racing against time. Someone was waiting. Soon, she bought 2 delicate bangles with a warm smile and praised the old woman in flawless Urdu. The blessing she received, a wish for luck and a happy marriage, felt like an echo from another life. Fragile and oddly comforting amidst the storm gathering around her. Suddenly, a sharp crash shattered the morning's rhythm. Crates toppled. Shouts erupted, cutting through the market's vibrant noise like a knife. A tall man moved through the chaos, Ethan Walker of the CIA. His leather jacket gleamed in the morning sun, marking him as an outsider, a hunter without apology. His presence broke the market's fragile harmony, drawing all eyes. Walker moved with the precision of a shark. It was clear he was in charge, his hand ever near the weapon concealed beneath his jacket. He didn't hide. He made a statement. Ananya's breath caught. "Oh no," she whispered, melting away from the bangle stall as Walker's focus zeroed in on Chen. The American's path split vendors and customers alike, pushing the crowd back with the force of his intent. His body language screamed dominance, walls of fear built from subtle signals that only trained eyes could read. Chen's facade cracked. Panic flickered across his face, his careful steps giving way to a desperate run. His bag thumped against his hip as he zigzagged between silk scarves and brass statues, a wild dance of fear. Walker broke cover, weapon half drawn, the threat unmistakable. The marketplace froze, a sudden silence, layering over conversations left hanging. Laughter died halfway through sentences. The ancient rhythm stumbled like a broken record. Ananya's mind raced. Her mission demanded patience, observation, avoidance of escalation. But Walker shattered that. His reckless hunt threatened to turn a quiet spy game into an international incident. She ducked into the narrow passage between a soap seller's cart and a jewelry booth, using the cramped space to pursue Chen unseen. The air here was thick with sandalwood and the sharp tang of sweat-streaked fear, a scent she would never forget. Chen pushed deeper into the market's heart, where the crowded alleys narrowed and overhead covers cast broken shadows. The buzz of tourists and casual shoppers faded, replaced by the measured pace of veterans in a deadly game. Walker's pursuit grew savage. He shoved past an elderly man with a walking stick, indifferent to the barrage of angry Urdu falling behind him. His jacket was a neon sign marking him as foreign, dangerous, uncompromising. The market, usually a living organism flowing in harmony, now recoiled. Shopkeepers exchanged wary looks, as if recognizing the predator in their midst. "Stop running, Chen." Walker's voice cut sharp through the haze, his words laced with an authority that brooked no disagreement. "We just want to talk." The lie was transparent. Ananya remembered the files, the dossiers. Walker's idea of conversation was brutal interrogation wrapped in diplomatic impunity. Chen broke into the spice quarter, an air thick with essential oils and cooking fire heat. The oldest shop owners guarded this territory with years of unwritten rules. Chen's flight threw the fragile piece into chaos. A cart of turmeric toppled, powder billowing yellow like smoke. Coughs and shouts rippled through the stirred crowd. But Walker charged on, eyes streaming from the powder but unrelenting. His steps drove Chen toward a dead end. Ananya made a decision that would mark her forever. She stepped into Walker's path, a shoulder barge that seemed accidental but was anything but. "Watch it, lady," he snarled. But his American accent betrayed him as clearly as his presence did. The market's attention shifted sharply, suspicion flaring in the shopkeeper's eyes. Her apology in Hindi was fluent, unexpected. A clumsy local swept up in foreign drama. Her interference bought Chen precious seconds he used to vanish into the labyrinth. From shadowed alleys, Lucien Moreau emerged, smoking, smiling, lethal. His French accent wrapped around her name like a silk scarf in a tempest. Memories clashed, desire, betrayal, danger. Lucien, France's most charming killer, the ghost of past battles, both comfort and curse. They moved as one, a dance rehearsed in Damascus and Algiers, a language of survival. Chaos was their weapon. Lucien knocked over oranges, Ananya upended brass lamps. Their symphony of disorder clouded pursuit. Walker's voice rose, frustrated, but the market had sealed its walls. Former competitors stood united, redirecting the aggressive American in confusing circles while shielding the fleeing pair. They paused in a stone alcove, breathing, calculating. Chen carried a secret, but the question wasn't what, but who awaited it. British, Chinese, unknown players. A gathering larger than any simple spy game. Tea brought by a sandalwood box vendor, flavor sharp with cardamom and veiled meaning. An encrypted message buzzed, multiple foreign assets converging. Extraction recommended. Lucien's wry comment. Popularity is exhausting, but the market's pulse quickened with menace. Even sacred sections held watchers, eyes sharper than blades, tracking, waiting. Then violence exploded. Attacks launched amid antique weapons and ceremonial swords. Ananya's training took over. A sidestep, an elbow. Lucien's thrown tea glass shattered skulls like glass, blood-stained ancient stones. The weapon seller's gaze was unreadable, acceptance or complicity. Armed with a ceremonial sword, a symbol of more than tradition, Ananya urged escape. They crashed through a curtained door into dusty storage filled with maps and accounts, the true pulse beneath the market's surface. Behind them, pursuers spoke in many tongues, the united front of shadow interests. They slipped through narrow passageways, breath ragged in tight confines. Light shone through wooden slats, an exit to freedom or a trap. More watchers moved silently, completing a deadly noose. We need noise, Ananya decided, eyes landing on stacked fireworks. Lucien smiled, the perfect partner in chaos, producing a lighter with a flourish. The explosion was a symphony of destruction, sparks flying, booming reports, confusion unleashed. They burst into bright sunlight, into the city's normal chaos. Rickshaws, buses, motorcycles in a wild dance. For a heartbeat, they were just two lost souls among millions. But the black sedan waited, cutting against traffic. Two men stepping out, looking like diplomats. But their eyes were hungry, professional. Split without a word, leaving trackers a choice. From her pharmacy refuge, Ananya watched, mind racing. Lucien's message arrived. Safe for now. Meet tonight. Old methods. Old ways forged in cold hotel rooms, far from here. Dead drops. Secret codes. Hyderabad had become a chessboard, a game watched by unseen eyes. In the crowded afternoon, a new figure emerged. Isabella Cruz, her fiery hair a signal of danger. Spanish intelligence with a reputation for ruthless creativity. A coffee invitation loaded with peril. Their conversation danced around truths and lies, warnings whispered like poison in velvet. Lucien's charm and danger echoed in Isabella's words, familiar enemies stalking old ghosts. Sunset promised a gathering, an event of shifting balances and broken alliances. Then, a single gunshot cracked the afternoon's tension. Isabella stepped into the deserted lane, weapon gleaming, predatory smile sharp as broken glass. The chase, she said, voice low and deadly, is far from over. And with those words, the delicate rules shattered. Harsh new games began.
Her eyes burn cold, her touching